What do I do if I am not indexed? This is a question I get a lot. All right. Now, if you have results in Index Checker that say that you're not indexed, like we have right here, we have a hangover pill, hangover capsules, or whatever this is, right? And it says hangover remedy, not indexed. Hangover for sumo wrestlers, not indexed. And you're like, well, at least I know for hangover remedy, I should be indexed. What's going on? The first thing I want you to check is this, all right? Go to Amazon.com and your seller or your buyer account, not your seller account, your buyer account, and check here on the top left, where does it say you're delivering it to? Maybe you live in Austria, so it's going to default here to Austria. So if you're outside of the country, or even if you're inside of the country, I want you to set this to an address in the United States, all right? So we are in Irvine, California. I'm going to put Brooklyn, New York, my old address in Brooklyn, New York, not Irvine, all right? And I'm going to put there. So 11201. Now I'm delivering to New York, all right? Now rerun the index check. All right, let's see what it says here. Boom, now I'm indexed, all right? So again, that is going to solve like maybe 50% of the issues that you might think that you're not indexed. Now, let's say this is your product. You set this correct, right? Okay, so now you're indexed here in the United States with a United States shipping address, and you're like, well, what about hangover for sumo wrestlers? Why am I not indexed for here? Now, I doubt that this product has sumo wrestlers in it, all right? So now let's talk about some of the reasons why you might not be indexed, all right? Why won't Amazon index you? Well, reason number one is it could be that Amazon does not think that that word is relevant to the niche, all right? So this hangover supplement, let's check out where it is. Let me check for this, or actually I'll check right here under. By the way, guys, did you know that you could do that? You click on the check mark and it's going to actually do that check. And so I can actually go directly to this check. Let's go to this product right here. As you can see, this is in the multivitamins health and household category. All right. So even if this listing had sumo wrestlers in it, it's probably the first ever hangover supplement designed for sumo wrestlers. So just because they have it in their listing, Amazon does not automatically index you if it doesn't think you're relevant, all right? If nobody has ever had sumo wrestlers in the multivitamin category, which probably is true, it's possible that Amazon's gonna be like, this person is just like keyword stuffing or they're trying to do some shenanigans. So we are not going to make you searchable for that. And as you can see, that's the case right here. Field ASIN index. Sumo wrestlers says no results for hangover for sumo wrestlers for that ASIN. All right. So that's number one. So can you fix that? Well, you can try a couple things like making sure it's in maybe repeated a couple times and in a complete sentence. Like don't just put sumo and wrestlers like in the back end search terms with no context. So maybe if you put a context like, maybe in a bullet point like this new product was formulated specifically with the sumo wrestler like Bradley in mind. Okay, so that might do it. Maybe repeating that in another place where then a day later you check. And then Amazon's like, oh, okay, yeah, probably they're indexed, all right? The one thing you can do is if that still doesn't work, the next step is put that in your subject matter. This is the health category, so they probably have subject matter available. Put that in the subject matter. If it's possible to index, usually it's going to index in the subject matter, even when it doesn't in bullet points or back-end search terms or your description, all right? So if that doesn't work, ask yourself, is it a forbidden keyword? All right, that's another reason why you might index. There are certain words that Amazon doesn't want you to put, like maybe bestseller or free, or sometimes they don't like lifetime guarantee or different strange words that maybe you never even thought about that they might ban. Okay, of course, they don't want anything adult related or drug related. I don't believe they want a lot of profanity on their website. So, those are kind of no-brainers, but you might not know if that's the case. Another case is it could be a trademarked word. Like there are strange words out there that you have no idea are trademarked. They're not by a brand necessarily, but they're just literally somebody put a trademark on it. Like, for example, farts. Farts is a word right now that is trademarked, I believe, on Amazon. That means if you have a listing that has it, they'll either suspend your listing sometimes or they won't let you index for a trademark word. Brand names, of course, a lot of times you're not going to be able to manually index for, as in put it in your listing, somebody else's brand name. This is against terms of service, so it's obvious that you wouldn't want to do that anyways. But for those of you who are trying to do that, usually Amazon is going to block you from doing that. But if what you are trying to do is not covered anywhere there, like you've tried it, it's something that is relevant to your category. All right, I'll always check that. Make sure that you're in the correct category. Like, let me just give you an example right here. Where was that other one? So hangover remedy, right? If all of a sudden you're not indexing for hangover remedy, and you know that hangover remedy is not a forbidden word or not any of those other things that I just mentioned, right? Well, one thing you can make sure that you're still in the health and household category. Make sure you weren't like moved to the adult category or you were moved to the cell phone category. Sometimes another seller might try and mess your listing up and do that, and then that same reason applies. If you're in another category, well, now all of a sudden these keywords aren't relevant to that category and you might lose your indexing. All right, so that's another thing you can check. But let's say you did all of these checks I just talked about and you have still no idea why you're not indexing. Well, just open up a case with Amazon. Probably don't use the word indexing. Most Amazon reps don't have that word. That's not actual Amazon vocabulary. But you could say something like, excuse me, do you know why I am not searchable for hangover remedy? And then you can say, hey, I search for this keyword plus my ASIN, and it doesn't show up. Now, obviously here it does because this is a word that shows up, but I could say hangover remedy for sumo wrestlers, all right? And give them this link and say, hey, I just searched for this hangover remedy for sumo wrestlers plus my ASIN, and it doesn't come up. But this word is in my listing. Do you know why? And then sometimes Amazon will let you know what's going on. It might have been a forbidden word that you didn't even realize, or they might even help you get that word index. So guys, again, index checker is something that's important for you guys to run frequently. If ever you start, your sales start going down all of a sudden, right? Or your PPC, you stop getting impressions on a certain keyword that you've always gotten impressions for. Run index checker, okay? Run index checker and see if you've lost indexing on any of your main keywords, especially if you have keyword tracker going and you're always ranking top 306. Then all of a sudden for a few days, you have fallen off the cliff. You're not on the top 306 anymore. Just take a quick spin with index checker to make sure that you're still indexed, and then if not, take the necessary steps to get reindexed. Because remember, if you're not indexed for a keyword, you are never going to come up in the search results if a buyer is searching for that, no matter how many times it's searched for. So this is something super important to your listing. Hope this video is going to help you guys out. See you later.